Hi friends, this is Mohammad Gibran and welcome to our C language tutorials. In this video, I'll be explaining you some more basics of C language like if condition, for loop, switch statements, etc. So let me first try to explain to you what does if condition means. Suppose you are on a street where you have two options, either you can go on left side or you can go to the right side. So at such situations you have to make a decision like what you want to do. Such situations might occur in your program where you want to do something depending upon the input from the user, or you want to do something on your own. You have to decide what and how to move further. For that you need if conditions. So let me explain you more about if condition like this. You give your condition, you have some of your condition over here. If this condition is true, then you do something like this, which is over here, and if this condition is not true or if it is false, you will go and do something here. Okay, so it depends on this condition. If this is true, then only you will go and perform this task, or else you will go and do this over here. And we explain this with an example. Suppose my condition is I'm checking whether my car is dirty or not. If my car is dirty, then I have to first wash it, then only I can go and move on with my daily works. Or if my car is not dirty, which means this statement is false, then I can go and directly work with my daily works, whatever I have to do. So my condition is my car dirty or not? If it is true, if it is dirty, then I will first have to wash it, then only I can move further. If it is not dirty, if this condition is false, then I can directly move on with my work in the program, right? Second example, suppose your condition is you ask to yourself, do you have money or not? Suppose if the answer is yes, you have money, then you can go and watch movies, and afterwards you can go and sleep. Or else if the answer is no, or this condition is false, if you don't have the money, then you can go watch the TV and then you can go and sleep. So your procedure or your further steps in the program is depending on this if condition. If it is true, you do something, or if it is false, you do something else, and then you come to a point after from where you will do the same path, do the same job. So this is how if condition goes. Like you have an expression or your condition. If it is true, you do something written over here. If it is false, you do something written over here. Then afterwards you come and continue the path. Okay, this is your if condition. And how you write your if condition in your program? You write it like this. You give your keyword if, then you give some conditions over here, like whatever condition you have. And if this condition is true, you will do something written over here, or if this condition is false, then you will come out of this braces and you will do something written over here, okay, below that if condition, that is the else part. So now let's try to write a program which will explain you the if condition. So first open your compiler, select a new source file. Now first I'll include some header files, that is oneo.h. Second one will be stdio.h. Now the main function. In this main function I will require one variable, say a. Okay, printf enter your choice. Okay, so now I'm telling the user to enter his choice, then I will save that in my a and a. Okay, now I'm writing a program using if condition which works depending upon the input given by the user. Suppose if the user presses the number 1, okay, if the user gives the input as 1, then a different statement will be displayed, or if he presses any number other than 1, a different statement I will be displaying to his screen. How? Let me see. If a, the value given by user, is equal to 1. Okay, if the value given by user is 1, then I will say him that printf, I will say you have pressed number 1. Okay, if the user has pressed the key with the number 1 or the number 1, then this statement will be displayed. Or else, if he presses any other key, any key other than 1, then what I will display him this thing, printf, you had pressed number other than 1. Okay, if the user has pressed the number 1, this statement will get displayed, or if he presses any other number except 1, then this statement will be executed. So hit ch, now F9, save it, get your choice. Let me say 1 for this time. You have pressed number 1, fine, and let me run it again. Now I'll press number 8. You have pressed number other than 1. Okay, so this is how your program works. Or if you want, you can make it more good looking. How? You have pressed number, say %d, and display the number pressed by him, that is 1. Okay, so now let's run it. If you press 5, you have pressed number 6. Okay, so this is how your if condition works. And suppose you have many conditions, like when you call into any call center, they give you 10 to 8 choices from where you have to choose your own option. Suppose in such type of scenario where you have 10 to 8 problems or 10 to 8 conditions, and that time you want to use this if condition, then it will be very much difficult. So for that we have something called switch case. We will see that in just a second. Till then, first I will tell you about else if. Okay, if a equals 2. Okay, suppose I want to make use of many if conditions, or I have many conditions to display. Then how I will work is like this. Okay, first thing I wrote for 1. If he presses 1, this statement will be executed. If he presses 2, this statement will be executed. If he presses any number other than 1 and 2, this number will be executed. Now let's run. Now I'll press number 2. You have pressed number 2. Okay, this statement was executed. Okay, so likewise, if I want to do it for any type of or many numbers, I have to do likewise if, else if, and else. I have to write many statements if I want to write it for 50 numbers, which creates a big problem in future if I want to change my program. So for that we need another thing, that is switch statements. As I was telling you, we need something known as switch, which gives us many options. Like here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have multiple conditions over here. In just one go you can work with all of them, and you can see the input given by user and you can display them. If he chooses or selects the option number 1, you can go and do something over here. If he goes and selects option number 2, you can go and do something here. 3, you can do this. 4, you can do this. And by default, if he is not selecting any from this, then you can do something else. So this is a switch case, what you call. So now let's write a program for that. Okay, let me clear out everything over here, and here I will be requiring 3 variables. And this program for switch case, we will be writing a program which will be taking the two numbers from the user, and depending on the choice of the user we will display their sum, their multiplication, their subtraction, or their division. If you want to do this in an if condition, you have to write around 10 to 12 statements for it, but using switch case I will show you how simple it is to do. So first we'll print to the user to enter the first number. Okay, now I will store that number in A and A. Okay, then I will just copy it and I will say to enter the second number and I will store that in B. Fine. Then I will tell him to select his choice. Select your choice. Okay, so these choices will be 1 for adding two numbers, \n, make it 1, 2 for the difference of numbers, \n, 3 for the multiplication of numbers, \n, 4 for the division of numbers. Okay, now I will just close it, semicolon, done. I will store that in C. So I am storing the first number in A, second number in B, the third number in C. Now we'll work with your switch. Switch will work on the value stored in C. So open your switch, close your switch, and between these braces I will say if the user presses 1, so what should it do? Printf, the sum is %d a plus b. Okay, likewise I'll just copy it for subtraction, multiplication, and this is for division. Subtraction, the difference is the multiplication is, let me change the sign, and this will be the division of A and B, the division. Okay, so now let me get everything in a line. Okay, then this one, okay, then this one. Fine. Now if the user presses number 2, it should subtract them. If he presses number 3, it should multiply them. If he presses number 4, it should divide them. Okay, so this is your program. There are certain changes to be made in this program, which I will be explaining step by step to make you people understand what may difference or what changes does those things make in your program. So first, basically, if you understood these 4 lines, let's move forward with this. Let's run your program. Okay, so enter the first number. My first number will be 2, second number will be 3. Select your choice. 1 for adding two numbers, 2 for the difference of two numbers, 3 for the multiplication of numbers, 4 for the division of numbers. I want to add the two numbers. I will press 1 and I will enter. So the output which it gave me is the sum is 5, the difference is -1, the multiplication is 6, the division is 0. As you can see, it is giving me all the options which I had printed over here. Let me make it more clear by adding this thing, /n, next line, next line and next line. Fine. So I should be able to see only one option for my the result for my single option which I selected. For that you need to add this thing, a break after every statement. Here also you need to add, here also you need to add, okay, and here also you will add your break statement. What it does is, when when you press 1, that is when it adds the number, afterwards it will break this switch case and it will come out of the switch case and it will end your program. If you don't give this break, as you saw in this last execution, it will do all this case 1, 2, 3, 4 from wherever you begin. Suppose if you press number 2, it will not do this case number 1, it will start from case number 2, then case number 3, and then case number 4. Okay, so to stop this you have to give the break keyword. Okay, and there is one more problem left in your program which I will be explaining in just a few seconds. So till that, let me run it again. First number say is 5, second number is again 5. Now this time I want the difference. I will press number 2, I will enter. The difference is 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. Now this time only one option has been displayed for me, as we have used our \n. Let me give it and \n. Fine, and now it will take the value in the next line. Okay, so this works fine. Now let me show you one more problem in your program. Suppose my number is 3, my second number is 8. Okay, so this time I want the multiplication. I will say number 3. Okay, but I will press number 8. Okay, we don't have anything for 8, but still we are pressing. Nothing happened. It should say something. Nothing happened. So how to do this? Because your user might give any option other than the given option. So for that you need a default statement. Default statement will be displayed every time whenever the user prints something other than the given option. Please enter the given options. Okay, so now whenever your user gives something else as input other than 1, 2, 3, 4, this statement will be popped out. LEASE. Now just run it. Oops, make it big. Right, my first number is suppose 5, second number is 6. Now I'm pressing number 9. Okay, now it should display me that statement. Please enter the given option. Okay, so let me run it again. First number say 4, second number is 2. I want the division, that is on number 4. The division is 2. Fine. So this is how switch case works. Or if you want, you can manipulate the string and you can say the multiplication of A and B, like the multiplication of %d and %d is %d, and here you can say A and B is this and this. So how it will work? It will work something like this: 5 and 3. I'll say multiplication. The multiplication of 5 and 3 is 15. Likewise, you can do the same thing with all your options if you want to make your output more good looking. After that, we have something as loop statements. Suppose you want to do something 10 to 15 times, or you want to display your name, like let me write something for this. I will remove everything which we have done previously. Right, now I'm going to display the first number. Okay, I will say the first number, that is %d, which I am storing in A. I am going to display this a this value 10 times. Okay, so for the first time I will write it like this. I will run it with the first number. Suppose I say 5. The first number is 5. Suppose I want to display this number for 2 times, right? I'll do it like this. I will run it again, F9. First, say I'll enter 3 this time. The first number is 3. The first number is 3. Okay, \n. Suppose if I want to do this thing for 4 times, I have to write it 4 times. Fine. Now let's run again. I will say number 8. First number 8, first number 8, first number 8, first number 8. So it displayed it 4 times. Suppose if I want to display it for 1000 times, so do I have to write it for 1000 times? No. Sorry for that. I will not write this statement 1000 times. Instead, I will use something called looping technique to do that task. So what are loops? Loop is something which does anything repeatedly. You test some condition like you did in your if condition. If that condition is true, it will loop again and it will continue it till that expression is true. Whenever that condition is false, it will go out of the loop and it will do something else. Okay, so whenever this condition is true, it might be 1000 times, 2000 times or 10,000 times. Unless this condition is true, it will keep on doing that, and if whenever that condition equals false, then it will end up doing that thing. And this is how your any looping techniques look like. This is the most famous one, which is known as the for loop. So in for loop, this is known as the initializing expression. This is the value which you are giving at the beginning of your loop. Then this is your condition. Until this condition is true, your loop will continue. And here your update, you will increment it, because when this task is completed for 1 time, then this number should be incremented. After, suppose in this example, for the first run, this will be 1. Is your I value is 1, so I should be less than and equal to 10. Is it 1 is less than or equal to 10? Yeah, it is less than 10. So it gets incremented. 1 gets incremented by 1, and then this thing, whatever you write over here, will be getting executed. Then again comes over here. As your 1 has been incremented, your now I value is 2, and this keeps on until your value becomes more than 10. So now let's try to write a program which explain you all this. Again, I will be displaying same statement but in a different manner. I will say for b equals to 0. Okay, I'm beginning from the 0. My initial value for b is 0. B should be less than 5. I want to display my statement for 5 times. B should increment every time. Okay, and I'm going to display this thing. So what happens for the first time? When the first time this code is executed, this value of b will be 0. Okay, when it comes over here, b has the value of 0. 0 is less than 5. It is true. So your b, that is 0, will get incremented by 1, and this statement gets executed. After this statement is printed on the screen, this comes back over here, and then your b value, which has been incremented over here from 0 plus 1, now your b value has become 1, so your b will be equal to 1 now. Then your 1 is less than 5. Yeah, it is less than 5, and then you again increment your 1 value by 1. After that, you print this statement again, and then you come out of this loop, and then you again check it. As your value has been incremented by 1, so your now b value becomes 2, then you again check it for 2. 2 is less than 5, yes it is. Then you again increment it, 2 plus 1, then you print this statement. After that you come over back again, as your b value has been incremented, it's now 3. Now you check it again with 3, 3 is less than 5, then you again increment your 3 value, and now your b value becomes 4. 3 plus 1, that is 4. Then you again print it, you again go back, you check it for number 4, then you again check it for number 5. When you check it for number 5, your number 5 comes over here. 5 is not less than 5, so your condition fails and your program comes out of this for loop and it will stop executing it. Okay, so this is how your for loop works. Hope you understood it, and now let's try to run it. B should increment every time. So now let's press F9. My number is say 3. The first number is this, first number, /n. Now F9. Suppose my number is 3. The first number is 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. See, I just wrote that statement only once, but it got displayed many number of times. Or I can, if I want, I can make it 15 times. So my number is suppose 9 this time. Now it has been displayed 15 times. Okay, or you can display it, you can display something else, like my name is. Okay, now you can display my name is the number of times you want, and if you want, you can make your program change the number of values it displays during the runtime only. Okay, enter the number of times you want to display the statement. Okay, now what happens is, whatever the number you gave over here, that value will decide the number of times this statement gets printed. Okay, so now let's run it. Enter the number of times you want to display the statement. I will say this time just 1. My name is done. Now if I run it again, this time I will say 50. I want this statement to be displayed 50 times. Enter. See, this statement has been executed 50 times. So hope you understood about if condition, switch statement and for loop. And one more thing, like for loop is there, we have 2 more loops, that's while loop and do while loop, which are also used, but most frequently you will be using the for loop technique only. So if you understood this for loop, that's more than enough. I'll try to explain do while loop and while loop in the upcoming videos. So before leaving, let me explain you again what is the for loop. This is the initialization. This is the condition which you are checking. Unless this condition is true, until and unless your condition is true, your statement will not get executed. And here you are incrementing your if condition, or the condition which you are giving will be checked over here. Here you will be incrementing your variable. Okay, so this was brief regarding for loop, switch case and if condition. Hope you understood all these 3 points, and thanks for watching the video.